Welcome back. Well, a serious call now to hold bullies accountable for their behavior. It comes from the family of a local teenager who took his own life last week in Hicksville. Hugs and tears inside this Hicksville funeral home as a long line of mourners pay their final respects to high school senior Angelo Colazzo.
My son was 17 years old. He was bullied since the 5th grade. It never stopped.
Angie Colazzo says her son struggled with scoliosis but suffered even more at the hands of his classmates.
He had to wear a back brace prior to his surgery. What did they do? They just punched him and hit him and kicked him. They called him crippled.
Colazzo says her son would never name the bullies. The bullied boy's parents say things became so bad that last Thursday he threw himself in front of a train on these nearby tracks. The teen's father was too distraught to speak, but the boy's uncle is demanding the bullies be identified.
These children that are picking on other kids, they need to be held responsible for this. It isn't right. You know, I lost my godson. My brother lost his son. This is not right.
Security asked us to leave when we tried to interview the school superintendent, Dr. Carl Benuso, who issued a statement saying all bullying allegations are investigated. Experts who provide counseling say schools are required to immediately investigate all bullying claims under New York State's Dignity for All Students Act, or DASA.
That is investigated within 24 hours. It is given to a DASA coordinator who then does a full investigation, interviews the child who's being bullied, witnesses.
Angelo's mother says she reported the abuse several times, but nothing was done that she's aware of. She adds she's already been contacted by several other parents whose children are being bullied.
So if his story being out there saves at least one other child, at least I know he did not die in vain.
So what can be done about this problem of bullying? Joining us now to explain is Ginger Lieberman with LIPEN, or the Long Island Professional Educational Network. Her organization provides anti-bullying programs and counseling in dozens of schools. And welcome. Ms. Lieberman, this is a story you're all too familiar with, right? How big a problem is bullying? What statistics are there?
Bullying is an epidemic in schools in the United States today. Over 200,000 kids across the country miss school every day for fear of being bullied. And those are the reported cases. We don't know how many kids just stay home and the parents don't know why.
Yeah, and I see, you know, wide range of statistics depending on who's doing it, anywhere from 25% to 77% at least report being bullied at one time or another. So most students at some point will experience this, right?
I think most students experience something. Some kids have thicker skin. Some kids look at it as teasing or taunting. But there's a nucleus of kids that are bullied daily.
Yeah, and of that group, there's like what they found, the people who are bullied daily, is that at least 1 in 7 have these kind of thoughts about taking their lives. This is very serious stuff.
It's real serious stuff. This is when a child ends their life, you have to think the draconian effort they just made to give a message to everybody else. Because it's also the way a child takes his or her life. If they take an overdose of pills, it's quiet, they go to sleep, nobody knows. But when it's something that is very dramatic, they're giving a message.
Like here.
Absolutely. Right. The cry for help went unheeded.
So what are the schools required to do? You know, first there was a law passed in 2010. It finally was enacted in 2012, so it's relatively new. I'm wondering if all the schools are doing what's required by this law. So first of all, explain what the law does require the schools to do.
The law's called DASA. It's the Dignity for All Students Act. It's a child's Bill of Rights. And what it is, it guarantees a child a hostile-free environment. If a child goes and tells an adult in a building that he or she is being bullied, or a parent calls and says their child is being bullied, the person becomes a mandated reporter. They write up the incident. They take the child's name, date, information, exactly what happened, witnesses. It's then given to a school coordinator. Every building is supposed to have their own coordinator. That coordinator has 48 hours to call and to have a full investigation. And the paperwork is usually about this thick when they get through with it.
Well, just pragmatically thinking, I'm wondering how is that even possible that they could be doing that? They would be spending their entire days doing that if the numbers are true about the number of kids that are being bullied and the number of complaints that come in. Are the schools doing it? Do they have these coordinators? Is this paperwork being filed? Investigations being done? Is somebody getting notified about any of this?
The schools that I know that I've been in and stuff absolutely take it very, very seriously. Then there's a district-wide coordinator who also helps if you find the bullying situation was not what the outcome should have been. The most important thing is that parents have to tell somebody and file a DASA report. You know, you can say my child's being bullied, but if you don't do anything about it, no one's going to know.
Yeah, because, you know, if you just tell the teacher, you need to go down there and say, I need a meeting. We need to discuss this immediately. I want to file a report, right?
Well, what you want to do is file a DASA complaint immediately. Then all that stuff comes to fruition. And how it's done in every district, there's a certain format that has to be done. Things get reported to the state. There are districts we have heard that don't report it as much. They're afraid they're going to lose federal funding, so they put it on the back burner.
So politics can get into this for reasons including finances.
Absolutely.
What about the police? Are they ever called into these situations? Do they get involved? When do they get involved? In this case, the police told us they were never, the Hicksville case, they were never notified of anything.
When it really becomes assault, when someone is threatening somebody, they may say, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do this, then the police become involved. But usually they try to handle it on a school level and bring in psychologists. But parents are the children's biggest advocate. And if you believe something is happening to your child, you can't leave any stone unturned.
Well, how do people become bullies? Something must be happening with them to cause them to do that. And can their behavior be reversed?
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Many times you see a child who's been a bully because he's come from family of bullies. We think that if you get into the really nursery schools and start to teach what empathy is all about, you'll start to put an end to it. Many times bullies and victims are left out of everything, and one gets very angry and one gets very depressed, and that's how they manifest their behaviors.
So that's how they act out. So, you know, and of course parents are always worried, is my kid being bullied? But what responsibility do parents have to make sure their kids are not bullies?
They have to listen to what people are telling them. They have to see who their kids are playing with, if their kids are not in the inner circle of anything going on. And many times the parents who don't come to meetings, who don't go to workshops, are the parents who have the biggest bullies in the school.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you know, and this is, you know, the schools say, hey, you know, privately they'll tell you so much is being put on us that people expect us to solve all these social problems. You know, you get involved between two parents and their family. That can be very, very volatile.
And many times, those kids were friends or the families were friends, and something happened that instigated it, and everything turned around.
So now if you're the kid and you're afraid to tell, as we know, anyone, including your parents, what are you supposed to do if you're getting bullied?
Tell an adult.
You have to tell someone.
There are safe people in every single school. Find an adult that you relate to.
All right. Well, Ginger Lieberman with the Long Island Professional Education Network, LIPEN, thanks for the helpful information. They are in the schools trying to spread the word about why this should not be happening and how we have to try to act to stop it. And we'll be right back.